very beautiful welcome to Issues on Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Can you ever finish talking about all the issues, matters arising from one situation to the other? Some people will tell you, as far as heaven and earth remain and man exists, there would be issues from time to time. What constitute issues? These are matters that are in the fore, either in the government or in the people, or maybe outside the shores of Nigeria or within the country. And these are some of the things we'll be looking at today. What is your assessment of the corruption index in Nigeria? Who is involved in this corruption? Are you thinking that corruption will become a thing of the past? One day, someday, that's our prayer, of course, that corruption would become a thing of the past. Soonest. Right, that's our prayer. Just like a lot of Nigerians are praying now that very soon terrorism will become a thing of the past. The same thing, corruption would become a thing of the past. Have you ever think about the proceeds of corruption? Could that be the reason why a lot of people get corrupt? Some people will tell you corruption is something that has eaten deeply into the fabric of the society, such that you don't even need to be in government before you get corrupted. What I understand is if anything is corrupted, it needs to be formatted. Those of you who are into tech, you know what I'm talking about. If you are tech inclined, you know what it means to get something formatted, get it refreshed, and of course, get rid of everything that is inside and make it get started just afresh. We call it factory reset, okay, just like the way the manufacturer produced it. Can we have a good Nigeria like we had back in the days of our fathers, with corruption becoming a thing of the past? That will form basis of our discussion today, the proceeds of crime. And we would also look at corruption. How many times have we heard of loots being recovered in Nigeria? Are you surprised that most times you may not hear exactly what these loots are being used for? I have a civil society organization member with me, a human rights activist with me on the program today, and also I have a legal practitioner. Some of you, when you hear legal practitioner, people in the judicial system, you'll be saying, hey, come on. Are they also corrupt? Are they not corrupt? Are they the ones bringing the people into political offices right now? Or they are simply doing their job? Don't worry, sit back. All of this will be dissected on Issues tonight. Let's go to a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll hit the road running with talking about the issues. It's good to have you join us on the issues this evening. I have to my left-hand side, Comrade Kachi O. Gerard. Comrade Kachi O. Gerard, as a matter of fact, is a rights activist, public affairs commentator, and a social analyst. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Well,
to Nigerians.
This is not your first time being on the issues.
Oh yes. The issues is where it happens and where we dissect developing issues.
It's about happening right now. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And also, to my right, I have a legal practitioner and, of course, also a public affairs analyst in the person of Emmanuel Umahi Ekwe. It's good to have you join us on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
You're welcome. You are going to be dissecting issues today. I have a lot of questions when I see legal practitioners because I see them as custodians of the law. So
I just hope I'm not going to form the issue.
You would form the issues, of course.
Well, if you see us that way, we are what you think we are.
You are what we think you are.
Yes.
All right, so let's get to talk about this a little bit. You know, one of the things that a lot of Nigerians seems to be confused about is public office holders, especially when it has to do with proceeds of crime. And today we want to look at corruption and asset recovery effort. All right, asset recovery effort. There have been a lot of corruption cases, and of course, asset recovery. You hear Abacha loot, you hear this, you hear that, you hear, But now, as it is, what's your perspective of Nigeria as it has to do with corruption?
Well, if you ask me, corruption is in depth in Nigeria. Corruption, if you ask me, I would say it's a household name already, because even the market woman knows what corruption is. Let me give you a clear-cut example. I was at AYA the other day. I wanted to buy groundnuts. And this market woman said 500 naira for 3 cup. And I was pricing for 400 naira. She refused. I said, okay, go ahead, measure for me. Do you know, she measured the first cup, measured the second cup. That was when I discovered that the cup was manipulated. It was heated. I said, madam, make I see that cup. He said, my pikin, don't worry, I will put jara for you. That is corruption. With an intent to cheat me, to make more money. So corruption is in depth, corruption is eating deep, and we don't know when it's going to stop.
So, like the perspective a lot of people have, if you talk about corruption, people's mind go to people in politics, people in governance.
Well, it's not about, corruption does not apply to only the people in the political space. Primary school pupil, secondary school students who go about doing malpractice, is that not corruption? So corruption is like our way of life. If you reflect very well, it's like our way of life, because most Nigerians are looking for how to climb to the top, not following process. It does not favor you today, you target corruption. But when it favors you, it is hallelujah all the way. That is the way I look at it.
All right, I'm still coming back to you, but then let me ask Comrade Kashi, from what he has said so far, what do you think? Are you on the same page?
Well, to me, corruption is an outcome of an event. In fact, is a reality that we are facing today due to no consequences for bad behavior. Our failures to uphold standards and respect the laws we created and enacted for ourselves. Our penchant ensure fast-tracking things or sharp, how do you put it, bending rules, just to achieve a particular goal. So these are some of the things that have given birth to what we see today as endemic. If leaders, because whenever they say fish gets rotten from the head, that is where it begins to trickle down. If leaders of Nigeria, especially those ruling class, begin to uphold some of the things that we have as a constitution and maintain to it, it will begin to trickle down. So it's an outcome of what we see on a daily basis. Take, for example, today, in our society today, we are seeing how our government is running helter and skelter with regards to promoting or making efforts to improve security.
Is it not good? Is it not good enough?
Just because somebody coughed in Washington. That is it.
But the federal government has been on that for a very long time. Not because I don't think it's because someone coughed.
Perhaps you didn't watch or listen to the chairman of the National Assembly, who is the Senate President, yesterday, when he was running screening on General Musa, who was appointed the Minister for Defense, when he said that Donald Trump is on his neck and the Nigerian government neck. It's a reactive government we find ourselves. So whenever you have situations like that, instead of being proactive, honoring that mandate, that oath you take to promote and protect constitutions, you understand? what you get at the end of the day is corruption. That corruption is a situation where, for the fact the particular thing is favoring you, you look away. But the one is no longer favoring you, you raise alarm. And that is the situation we find ourselves. Today, there are certain individuals, certain persons that are not supposed to near the corridors of power. But because of corruption, they are there. There are certain... Okay, let me give you another classical example. This year, 2025, some few months ago, Oshomole and the K1, I think that's what is the Kwan 1, we are found to obstruct or cause some kind of chaos or commotion in the airport. He was treated with fragrance. A lady who is not close to the corridors of power had the same encounter. They nearly, tore her apart. So by the time Nigerians say, no, we no go agree. If this in her own case, you are bringing a insecticide, but the other people, you are using fragrance. They changed the narrative. The next thing we had was the person that blocked Almighty plane from flying was given ambassador. What do you call that? You and I, if we try such a thing, perhaps if we are not in Sokoto, we may be in Kuje. If we are not in Kuje, maybe Suleja or Kaduna. Then we are waiting trial. So these are some of the things that give room. Who knows who? You can show some element of impunity, abuse of power, what have you. So that is what brought us where we are. If we have leadership from the head that maintain and strictly maintain what we have as laws and honor it, it will trickle down.
So invariably what you're trying to say is that all these things that you've narrated are part of the corruption process. Is that what you think?
It's part of the corruption that is endemic. When I say endemic, it appears like, just like my counsel here have properly put it as a way of life. It's almost a culture embedded in us that you can hardly engage in anything today. If you look deep down, you will not see some elements or atoms of corruption in it. From the judiciary to the legislative to the executive.
All right. Some of the things that has amounted to corruption too is the lootings that we've had in this country.
Looting.
Okay. Looting and relooting.
And there's
people are still looting.
Yes.
Let me get to Barrister here. Barrister, the issue of, because what we're looking at tonight is we're looking at corruption and asset recovery. Looting of funds, asset. We had a lot of, you hear this one, Emefiele has this house here, you hear Malamidis, you hear this one, you hear a lot of them, you hear Abacha loot, which is very popular. All of these, how did we get here? Is it can we also attribute that to corruption?
Well, we don't need an Indian native doctor to tell us that this amounts to corruption. First of all, when we heard about Abacha loot, some people hailed him. Some people are still hailing Abacha. That if not for late Abacha, Nigeria wouldn't be feeding today. They are still thanking God that Abacha loot is trickling into the country. Let me tell you one thing. It is lack of consequences for bad behaviors that kept us where we are. We are not ready to move forward as a nation. Let me give you a classical example, a practical one. You remember the case of Abdul Rashid Mena, the former chairman of Pension Reform Tax Team. You recall how he was prosecuted. Some people say persecuted. And they say persecution because of the way and manner he was treated. Somebody who recovered 1.6 trillion naira during Jonathan's era, 1.3 trillion naira during Buhari's era. You can see some of the properties he recovered for this country. The then Minister of Finance, Okonjo-Iweala, testified to it. Part of the monies this man recovered was used to sponsor the budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. How was he treated eventually? The system fought against him. The cargoes fought against him.
So why should the system fight against someone who is recovering?
Yes, the cartel who do not want it. You don't know that people are benefiting from corruption? I look at Nigeria today and I weep. Are you aware, sir, that most of my colleagues who are lawyers prefer to travel to the United States to go and be washing plates because of the way we have found ourselves in this country?
Okay, lawyers. You're talking about lawyers.
Yes.
Legal practitioners who prefer to travel abroad
Yes,
to go and wash dishes.
Perhaps they find peace
Why?
there. Perhaps
Meaning they are corrupt?
No.
So why are they running away
The
from
country
corruption?
is not just favoring anyone.
But they are legal practitioners. They are the ones to salvage the situation. Why run
Now,
away?
who are members of the legal practice? Who are members of the judiciary? Are they not human beings? Did they come from the moon? They are first of all human beings, members of the society, before they climbed to that cadre. We have medical doctors, you have lawyers, you have engineers. We are first of all human beings. And remember, ab initio, I told you that corruption started from even the primary school. You see some parents trying to bribe, school proprietors to ensure that their wards get good grades.
Even at that level?
At that level.
Are you serious? We're not talking about university here.
No, I'm telling you where it started from. Now, some parents go as far as taking their children to Miracle Center to go and write WAEC, JAMB. At the end of the day, what do you expect? If the foundation is bad, do you expect miracle at the top? So these are the things we are saying. The system is not there for progressive change. And if we continue on this trajectory, Nigeria may be put up for sale one day. You will wake up and you hear that this country has been sold.
Why?
Because of the way we are mismanaging. And there are no consequences for people who... Now, let me tell you, all the things Abdul Rashid Maina recovered for this country, where are they? They were relooted. By who? By those who were supposed to safeguard these things. The 222 choice properties, where are they today? Because there is no accountability. The EFCC used their power to reloot most of these properties, and yet we are crying that we don't have money. Nigeria is poor. Who told you Nigeria is poor?
Hold on a minute. EFCC is supposed to arrest fight against corrupt practices. And you're now saying EFCC relooted the properties or maybe asset that was recovered. Is that what you're saying?
I do not have water in my mouth when I said the EFCC relooted what was recovered by the then pension.
You have evidences to this?
There are documents. You know, Abdul Rashid Maina was...
But that was under which of the EFCC chairman?
You know, Abdul Rashid Maina was convicted, right? After the conviction, he has served his jail term and is out. Has Nigeria moved from where it is? Are things not getting worse? There are documents. It's just that we don't want to set this country ablaze. If I show you document, Ramsey, you will marvel.
I'm sure.
I'm telling you, if I show you document,
But that was under
original
the
document.
chairman. Under which of the EFCC
Magu was
chairman?
there.
Okay, Magu.
Did
Under
you not
Magu.
see Magu? He was eventually disgraced from office. You saw what Malami did. A lot of things happened. People who don't want this country to grow.
Okay, I'm coming back to you. Let me get to comrade. Because you're a judicial officer, with all of this, I think the judicial, well, I'm coming back to you. Just hold it here. Let me get to Comrade right now. Comrade, you heard what he said.
Very well.
I feel he's indicting people right here because when you're talking about corruption and asset recovery efforts, and this asset recovery, most times you see EFCC arresting people. We just heard of the arrest of the former attorney general.
I think they say it's invitation.
It's invitation.
Babaka Malami.
Invitation and all of that. And he is saying that the assets, looted assets, all right, that were recovered are being relooted. How possible can that be?
You see?
Because he even said, one of the places that is giving me a little concern, now he even said some of the money recovered by MENA back then was incorporated into the budget of Nigeria. He now said the EFCC or some person, EFCC was particular, that EFCC relooted the money. What do you think? Is that not an allegation?
Well, to start with, there's an adage that says that if you see a tall man with care leg enters a room and all of a sudden masquerade with care leg comes out of that room, what do you think your guess will be? As a tall man, and it becomes obvious. Except we try to, sometimes we try to be politically correct just to not offend people. Issue of relating recovered monies from Abacha to even the one my council mentioned, that's Abdulrasheed Maina. There's one act we have there called Whistleblower Act. And some of the terms in recovery that we have as of today is that if you recover certain money, there are certain percentage that's supposed to be accrued to you or given back to you, maybe 5% or what have you. And if you look at the trillions mentioned, 1 point this, 1 point that, put together over 2 trillion, almost 3 trillion. And there are certain percentage that's supposed to go to the person who recovered it. And those percentage is over 100 billion naira. And there are invested interests. While Abdulrasheed Maina was in Kuje, in most of my interventions, I visited him before he finished serving. And just like the council have presented, there are documents or evidences that you present to the public. People will marvel. You will be pained to your bone. You will begin to look like the likes of Desiani, Godwin Emefiele, to look like saints. It was in this country that a serving minister brought painted aeroplane and did the entire country. The more you look, in fact, it's called Global Yahoo Yahoo. It was in this country the same set of people organized rice pyramid here in Abuja and did Nigeria. The more you look, the less you see. Now, issue of relating the 310 billion US dollars recovered Abacha loot. They continue to call it Abacha. Abacha may so rest in peace, because anytime it appears like we are in want or lacking, from the grave he will send some things to Nigeria. At a point they claimed that he was pushed into the conditional cash transfer. And I ask all of us here in the studio, Ramsey, throughout the period of 8 years of late former President Muhammad Buhari, while Abubakar Malami was holding sway as Attorney General of the Federation, did you hear or know somebody that knows somebody, either from your neighborhood or street or your place of worship or in the market, that knows somebody that benefited from the conditional cash transfer? Your guess is as good as mine. Just as we see in the same government, we had people that claim that they feed children, school children, during lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown. There are many things to mention.
But some children were fed
during lockdown.
The school feeding program
during lockdown.
Okay, there was no school.
When we had lockdown and the billions went in, they claimed that they use it to Ramsey. There are a lot of things. But then talking about reluting, case of Maina is another case. They claim that what took him to Kuje prison was 2.1 billion. in that 2.1 billion, the task force he's heading includes people from military, police, civil defense, CSCC, ICPC, name it. And he wasn't signatory to the account. They claim that he mismanaged. And the Nigerian government, as at the time, we are supposed to pay him a certain percentage of the recovered things that he has been able to recover for this country, which runs over 100 billion. Hello? If your entitlement as a right for helping Nigeria to recover certain things is running into hundreds of millions or 100 and something billion, and all of a sudden you begin to hear that they're indicting you for 2.1 billion. Is it not a tall man with a K leg enters the room and coming out with a masquerade? Now, as of today, last time I checked, I was hearing that some of the money has been paid back to him without him knowing. They forged his document, forged his signature while he was still in Kuje prison. That one is a very big case on its own.
How did you know about this? You saw the documents?
Because I chatted with him. The reports had it that they have paid me over 70% of the money when he did not see, he did not sign any signatory.
But can somebody be sent to prison without trial?
Okay, when it comes to trial, there you come in, and that's beautiful. My prayer for you is not to let Nigeria not happen to you. You know, this beautiful adage that they say Nigeria should not happen to you. Now people who don't get close to it to understand what we are saying. Around 2017-2018, I rescued a young man for let me protect his identity from SARS, then Abattoir, when SARS was still operational. The young man was accused, he's an Afa, teaching in a private school in Kuje. He was being paid 56,000 as a then. He was accused that he threatened Aisha Buhari, who is the first lady, the wife of the president then. That if Aisha does not pay 100 million naira to his account, he will kidnap somebody close to Aisha. You know, imagine a kidnapper issuing notice. When I go to SARS, the guy has stayed for over 3 days. The wife ran away. The people that he called for early morning prayers, nobody showed up. The school did not show up. I asked questions. They say it's PA to PA. It's no longer Aisha to Aisha. Was there any petition? No. Can I meet the person who accused? Nothing like that. I said, okay, hence this guy have stayed 3 days. Why haven't you charged this? They say they recovered sorry, I'm not going to mention the line he used to make the call and the phones and the IM, you know, stories that look like truth. I say, if you recovered it, can I hear the call log? They say, is it because we have not shot him? So if you have not shot him till now and I got to this place, I get to know, you will not shoot him again. And I take your threats very serious. That day the guy was released. You know what happened later? The guy was asked to help students in exam, just like my brother mentioned about Miracle Center. That particular private school had been struggling for a particular subject. And that subject they had been struggling for, somebody recommended the guy that is good in that subject. When it comes to work, they expected him to come and solve questions. He says against his faith. He cannot, after teaching, he will go to exam and solve problem for students. They said that's why they were paying him more than other teachers. And
he's an alpha, and he said it's against his faith.
You understand? If that is the case, you should have put it in my appointment letter. They told him that they would deal with him. Dealing with him is part of that. The SIM card they claim have never been used to make call. It was used for data. Purchasing of data for his laptop. So, if Nigeria happened to you, there was another intervention we went for CID. Somebody that was detained there, his accusation was that the primary suspect of Nyanya bomb blast, he was still, I can go on to go. So when it comes to judicial trial, pray that Nigeria does not happen to you. I will give you the latest one that happened this year. You recall a very popular gospel singer, Osinachi Nwachukwu. Osinachi Nwachukwu died, and the report had it all over the world that the husband is a woman beater. In fact, he used domestic violence to kill the woman and so on and so forth. My organization got interested in the matter. We entered into the matter. Lo and behold, in the trial of that man, whom they have sentenced to death, they presented autopsy. Autopsy report said that the woman died of cardiac tamponade, cancer that affected the heart. It touched lung, heart, and one other internal organ that most likely they may have been treating for ulcer for years. There were no traces of torture, violence, or fracture on the woman's body. But the man was sentenced.
All right, hold it for a minute. Let me get to, because you are somehow indicting my judicial officer here. From what he's saying now, so where is the place of the judiciary as it has to do with all of this? Because if you look at what he is saying, even every case, all right, the judiciary is in charge. You get a lawyer. Anything that happens, any case that goes to court today, you get a lawyer. Even the issue of looting that we're talking about here, asset that was recovered, people who recover the asset, people who are claiming to be maybe Kaba or something, the judiciary can also handle this situation. So where is the place of judiciary in Nigeria as it has to do with corruption?
Okay, I started by telling you that members of the judiciary are also, first of all, members of the society.
So they are also corrupt?
Yes. Take, for example, the case of Ike Ekweremadu.
So are you saying
in that case,
lawyers are also corrupt? Is that what you are saying?
I'm coming there. I'm coming there. If that case was to be handled in Nigeria, I'm sure that small boy would have been sent to Kefi prison by now. And you saw the step Nigerian government took recently to go and bring him back to Nigeria to complete his jail term. It was for a purpose. So corruption has eaten deep, and the judiciary is not spared. Now, how do you even appoint judges? What is the modus? Is it not politicians that recommend? You may be sleeping and a politician calls you. How far? I want you to take up this judicial appointment, maybe in a state or at federal level. Even when you don't know anything, they draft you in and you begin to adjudicate over issues, whether you are qualified or not. So if you are a nobody, nobody gives you. So look at the way judges are appointed. The judiciary is not spared. The corruption has eaten deep.
Okay, in the appointment of the judiciary, if you are being called and you know you are not qualified, if you are a sincere judicial officer who have taken the oath, are you supposed to accept that?
Okay, so these government officials, don't they take oath?
No, I'm talking about, no, you can't compare government officials with legal practitioners.
Yes.
A lawyer is a lawyer.
Yes.
And that's why they say they are lawyer, custodians of the law.
Are you aware that, let me tell you, are you aware that some of the judges you see today are members of political parties wearing wig and gown? And when a matter goes before them, they already know what they want to do. You can stay there and shout all the objections you want to shout. At the end of the day, what will happen will happen. The comrade says something. Let me take you back a little about what happened during Maina's case. Are you aware that MS Abubakar, the man who prosecuted that matter, was rewarded with a judicial appointment? He was rewarded after that case. Customary Court of Appeal, that is where he is today. Justice Okona Bank, who jailed Abdul Rashid Mena, where is he today? He was rewarded with a position. He had been elevated to the Court of Appeal. Let me also tell you something that will strike your mind. That 2.1 billion naira they were talking about was approved in the year 2010. And Mena came up 2011. That money has been expended before his inauguration as the chairman of that tax team. Is it not magical to say that somebody who came in the year 2011 spent the money sanctioned in the year 2010? That is magical. And Judges in this country are used as conduit pipe to spread corruption. Nobody is exempted. I'm 11 years at the bar. And at this stage, I should say what should be said. Because if we don't say this thing, this country can't move forward. We envy the United States of America when their judges read judgment. You see how sound it is.
On merit.
But when judgments are read in this country, you see that these judgments are tainted with sentiment and corruption. Justice must be seen to be done. That market woman should see justice. It's not for you to use technicalities.
Technicalities.
And, deceive the market people. When you are dispersing justice, let's see it.
So what can be done now to salvage the situation? Meaning the judiciary is the problem of Nigeria.
Now,
Right now,
we have to strengthen the institution. The institution has to be above human beings. That is what is working for the United States.
when judicial officers are compromising.
Yes. Now, somebody can stay in his bedroom and tell the judge, this is what you will do. Help this, salvage this, baptize this person. You understand? And you know the law is not a one-way traffic. It's not a one-way thing. There are different doors. And that is why you see these manipulations. And that is why after most judgment, you hear people say, ole, ole. It is because they capitalize on the loopholes. It's not a straight jacket thing. When you want to prepare your judgment, it can be for or against. So as a judge, you know what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So if you are not comfortable, and that is what brought about the slogan, if you are not comfortable, go to court. If you are not comfortable, go on appeal. If you go on appeal in this country, how long will it take you to do your case? Let alone when you are going to
just
the
hold
Supreme
on,
Court.
just hold on for a minute. All right, we are going on a quick break, and after this break, when we return, we will get to know if the judiciary is actually our problem in this country for being quiet. Number one, for being quiet over all this situation, all these corruption cases that we're hearing about. Then secondly, all right, for us all consenting to corruption, or as people who are custodians of the law. Because I've not seen civil society organization rise up against maybe a court judgment, probably, or maybe barristers or lawyers. They have their bodies coming together to say, we are protesting today, we don't want this judge, we don't want this or that. After this break, we need to look into that. Stay with us.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course,
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face to Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
rural news in United
Welcome
Nigeria. I'm
to
guest.
Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Talk Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists. Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
the judiciary in Nigeria, they said is the last hope of the common man. But then, looking at the issue of corruption in Nigeria and asset recovery, proceeds from crime, it is a crime, even though these loot were recovered and, of course, channeled into different things. Whether it was relooted, as it's been alleged by the legal practitioner in the studio here, all of that is an issue. But then, one other issue again, civil society organizations, what are they doing, all right, if the judiciary is corrupt? What is the role? Because most times, Nigerians feel the judiciary is no longer the hope of the common man. Some people will say it outrightly. The civil society organizations now, how many times, all right, how many times, or how often, or what are they doing? Human rights activists, what are they doing to forestall justice? What are they doing about our justice system? What are they doing about judges, lawyers, barristers in the country?
Ramsey.
As it has to do with corruption.
Ramsey, aside corruption, infringements anywhere, abuse of rights, abuse of power is a threat to justice everywhere. Just 2 days ago, we got a report in Kano that citizens in Kano were strongly protesting against police, that they caught either kidnapper or a bandit and police is holding him, that they want the person out to do their own jungle justice. What does that tell you? Lack of confidence in judicial system. It begins to give you strong signal that whenever you see the likes of Comrade Omoyele Sowore will tell you revolution now. It's ticking. When people begin to express lack of confidence, trust, faith, or hope in the judicial system. This 10th assembly we have, while the previous one we are running off to hand over to them, it was reported one of the senators, whether it's Senator Buka Chua or the other part, his plenary compliment, he said that he normally interfered in the wife. The wife was a judge to help his colleagues. Did judiciary, NJC, or what have you, did anybody do anything then? The immediate past Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, did he participate in the Senate primaries from where he got from? He was busy contesting for presidential primaries. One of the senators asked the magic they did there, whether it's Rogers or Korocha. The current Senate President, that will tell you issue of corruption when I talk about from the head. When predecessors handed over to successor, both of them, did they participate in primaries? Can something stand without anything? But you shall get the ticket. Because party must be the final determinant of who contests and who does not contest. There are a whole lot of things. Now, when you talk about what civil societies are doing, we have done a lot. We have raised a lot of our... In fact, let me tell you one of the things that are happening recently, which I have oftentimes raised in different fora. August 2024, last year, Nigerian youths went on the street demanding for improved governance and tag their protests and bad governance. A lot of persons were arrested, including underage children. Instead of taking them to juvenile court, they packed them together like sardine in a particular place and brought them to court malnourished, causing global embarrassment. What did President of the Federation did? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed the judge to withdraw all charges. But that was not done.
Even when the president gave...
As we talk now, they still have about 11. That the courts where they tried about 11, as we talk now, continue to dilly-dally on the case. Anytime the matter will come up, the court will not see. They will give you one flimsy excuse or not.
So those boys that were shown are still in custody?
No, they have released. They are giving them bail, but they refuse to do trial. Now, one of the funny things they do is that If you go to court, they will tell the judge is not on seat, but the following day, the same judge will sit on Natasha Akpabio case.
So why do they do that?
If you ask me, who I go ask? We have issued press statements, carry out protests, write letters. What is happening? Still happening.
You should be asking the legal practitioner. I've asked you. Ask him.
So, of course, if when they how do they put in the Holy Bible? They say when something like the righteous are weak. It's taking maybe if another government, Donald Trump or maybe UK government or Chinese government or Russian government blink in that direction, because what they have blinked now is on security. You started seeing reshufflement. You started seeing claims of we rescued CAC victims. We rescued this, we rescued that. Whereas the same criminals are going on TikTok claiming that they negotiated. You see contradictory reports. So, if you ask them now, they will give you technicalities. They will give you, that is reason. Some of them, their credentials are still with those prosecutors. Some of them, their accounts have been frozen as we talk now. They are struggling. Injustice in this country is something that one cannot finish talking about. It was in this country that they killed a journalist covering Shiite protests in Bega, in Abuja here. We went to court, obtained judgment. Since 2023, that judgment has not been honored. And the family continues to suffer. With the child, the journalist left behind. How many are you going to talk with? We cannot finish it here. I can continue to cite examples and examples and examples, and on each situation, we will write, we will protest, we will write letters, petitions. Nobody will act on it. Perhaps the only language the Nigerian states understand is the type that the bandits and the Boko Haram and criminals, terrorists are doing. But once they see you carrying gun, they start snapping pictures with you, having a handshake. But once you are trying to do the right thing, continue to push a particular narrative to make things right, they don't understand it. And our children are watching. They are watching. That is the reason why even the recent judgment they gave to the IPOB leader, proscribed IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, which, as we talk now, is a convicted criminal, convicted terrorist. But we see the avalanche of people that are going to Sokoto where he is, both serving government officials and non-government officials, which they're supposed to be political solution. And that was what they did to this guy that was fighting environmentalists from the River States in 1995 when they killed him, Ken Saro-Wiwa. Instead of using superior argument to quench such ideology, they think it's by suppression, by force. At the end of the day, we got militant that started blasting everywhere.
Yes, I think we need to round up now. As it is, now it has been established that judiciary is part of the problem of this country, and you have attested to that too. So now, what do you think? Have you ever joined any protests by judicial officers protesting a court judgment by a judge, or is it legal to do that?
Well, I've never protested against any judgment. If a judgment goes against me, the right channel is to appeal. So that's it. I cannot go.
But is it okay? Can lawyers rise today, or your body rise up to say, well, we don't. This person is going against the tenets of our institution.
It's against the RPC, rules of professional conduct. If a matter is against you, even in that court, you still thank my Lord for his industry. We are trained to be polite.
Whether the judge is doing the right thing or not.
Yes.
Others will just come and do yes, sir.
My Lord.
This is what a
but that's it. That's it. You know, the spirit of sportsmanship has to
So whether the judge is doing the right thing,
if it does not favor you today, it will favor you tomorrow. My Lord, we thank you for the industry. We thank you for the time you have afforded us.
So, in other words, Nigerian judiciary is anywhere belle face. Is that what?
No, what you now do is to file your appeal. If you are not comfortable with the judgment of the lower court.
No, I'm not talking about the person who have the case.
Okay.
Can lawyers themselves say, no, this judgment is wrong?
You cannot, it's against the rules of professional conduct.
All right.
Ramsey, I think I will help us in this
but our time is up. The news is coming next. The news is... Please, we need to hold this now because of our news. The news is coming. And so we need to put a stop to it right here. Well, this is going to be the size of the conversation today. We've been able to look at the proceed of crime, looking at, of course, the corruption cases and as a matter of fact assets recovery. But today legal practitioner has told us that even assets that were recovered was still relooted by EFCC under Magu. All right, maybe we'll look at that, but as a matter of fact EFCC have the right of response. They can come on the program to also say no, this thing is not through, or whether it's true or not. That's from a legal practitioner. Well, actually of course the opinion and of course the contribution of our guests is entirely theirs, and Global Television does not have a contribution to it. Many thanks for joining us, comrade.
Thank you for having me.
Many thanks for joining us this evening.
My pleasure to be here.
This is the size of the conversation. Bye-bye for now. My name is Ramsey Enoch.